Right at the top is a move that Kyle Dubas made in Pittsburgh as, I guess, acting general manager and, president of hockey ops. Ryan Graves, former New Jersey Devils defenseman, he moves on. He goes to Pittsburgh. It's a 6-year deal, and the AAV is $4.5 million. So Graves, a good top 4 defenseman, gets himself a nice long-term deal in Pittsburgh. Case, what do you think about this one for the former New Jersey Devils blue liner?
I'm going to call this a B. Pretty middle of the road signing. I don't think that they got great value here. I don't think that they overpaid. 6 years is certainly a lot of time, and that just reeks of Kyle Dubas. But I think I'm interested to see what Ryan Graves can do with a little more ice time in Pittsburgh and kind of maybe being the guy on the back end there other than, Letang. So I think it could be interesting to see when he gets more of a look what he can do. I was happy with him throughout the year in New Jersey, although this year his production kind of took a step back. And then in the playoffs, he really disappeared, especially physically. I was pretty disappointed with his lack of presence in front of the net. So I'm excited to see what can happen to Ryan Graves here. I don't think $4.5 million is outrageous for him. I think 6 years is a long time, so we'll see how this turns out. But no, I think it's middle of the road, so I'm going to give it a B.
Yeah, you nailed the case. I'm also giving it a B. I think it makes sense for a guy like Dubas and a team like Pittsburgh who clearly has a very tight window to compete and needed to turn things around and add not only on the back end but everywhere. So I don't hate the contract. 6 years, maybe that's just kind of future-proofing it a bit as the cap goes up. And, to get a big guy who is mostly physical, who plays hard defensively, eats shots all the time and is pretty rangy, I think that's a solid deal. And like I said, I think Pittsburgh and Kyle were a little bit handcuffed because Kyle was told as he went in, listen, let's run this back, fill out around the core and see what happens. I don't think 4.5 is a terrible number. Would I rather have him than John Klingberg on the back end? Honestly, maybe at similar cap hits. I know it's 6 years, but I mean, just depends on team fit and what you want out of that defenseman. So I don't hate it at all. I think it's pretty much what we expected Graves to get. Some people are going nuts and saying that look at his production, and it's well, you have to look at what the player brings, and I think he brings a lot more than just points because, again, like Case said, doesn't put up a ton of those. But yeah, I'll give it a B as well, Case. I think you nailed it.
Oh yeah, there's times where when he and John Marino were playing together, I felt comfortable every time they were on the ice, and that's a good good state to be in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and looking at Graves' numbers, the last 2 seasons he has been over 25 points. So I think that that's sort of the number you're looking at for a top 4 defenseman like that with size. He's only 28 years old still. So with the term of this contract, I think, again, you're looking at maximizing those first 3 or 4 years of the deal. And then the last, 2 or 3 years may cause you some headaches. But yeah, for Pittsburgh, they're obviously looking to get right back in it and reshaping the roster, and they needed to do something on the blue line. And, the trade that sticks out like a sore thumb is the John Marino deal with the New Jersey Devils. Ty Smith just has not gotten back to the player that he was in his first year in New Jersey, and so that one really sticks out, and adding a guy like Graves should help in the first half of that deal. So I'll go with a middle of the road grade as well. Stick with you guys and go with a B for this deal for Pittsburgh.